Hey everyone, welcome to the December Live at Lunch. And today's going to be special. I say that every time, but today's about my own transformation. So joining me today is Josiah Novak. Let me read his bio real quick. He's a fitness coach, author, and speaker. His articles have been featured in Fitness RX and online publications, and he's been a featured guest on Mind Pump, The Dad's Edge, I Am a Comeback, and the Order of Man podcasts. His true transformation systems have helped thousands of high-level professionals over the past 15 years. And we're going to talk about my own journey in just a second. His mission with the true transformation is to help you use fitness to not only permanently transform your body, but to win in all areas of life. True transformation stands on the belief that fitness is the lowest hanging fruit to maximizing quality in all areas of life. So Josiah, thank you for being here for our Live at Lunch.
Thanks for having me, man. You got me pumped up with the intro.
Yeah. Hey, so let me talk a little bit about how I found you, and we'll talk a little bit about the conversation that you and I have had about what really brought me in. So fitness has been an important part of my journey for a long, long time. But I turned 50 this last year, and it's like, man, it's maybe 50 years left, right? And it's time to get really serious about what I'm doing from a fitness standpoint. I've been working out. I've been doing everything. I don't know how I get introduced to you on social media. Somehow you've got a good social media team, by the way. And I started following, and I just saw the before and after pictures. And I'm looking at I looked a lot like a lot of the befores, and I wanted to look like a lot of the afters. And, but there's a lot of just curiosity of just like, is this real? Can this be real? Can I really do this? And I remember getting on the phone with one of your team members, and my question was this, and maybe you feel this way, maybe you know this, but I said, look, here's what I want to know. To get a body like that, do I have to just limit myself to broccoli and chicken and rice? Or can I really do that by eating foods that I enjoy and living a life I enjoy? I said, because I'm at a decision point. I'm 50 years old now. I'm either going to embrace the dad bod and live with it for the rest of my life because I like eating the foods I like, or I'm going to trust you and I'm going to jump in and we're going to figure it out. And before we get in, I'm down, since I've been on your program, down 40 pounds.
Amazing.
40 pounds.
That's a lot.
I've seen my abs for the first time ever in my life, like never, ever. I grew up as 100 pounds overweight when I was a kid. I mean, I got thin when I was younger, but I've never, ever seen my abs. First time ever. Wow. And it's sustainable. And I want to talk about, we'll jump into this more, but I've got a son who's struggled with same weight issues that I've struggled with. And I've introduced him to just a few principles on the program. And his comment to me was, and he's done other programs. There's multi-level marketing programs that we could name, we're not going to, and things like that are out there. And he did that. He lost a lot of weight doing that, but he gained it all back. And he's like, Dad, this is the first thing that feels sustainable. This is the first time I ever feel like I can keep going. I can keep doing this. And so I thought, it's December and everybody goes through the holidays, but what a better time to be thinking, if I'm going to go into January 2024 and I want my best life, I thought it'd be great to get you together for us to have a conversation. But I'm just going to tell you, if you guys want, I'm in my underwear, but I'll give you the before and after pictures if you want them.
Yes. Man.
And I'm not finished with my journey, but this is one of the first times I've ever found something that everything finally worked and made sense, and it's sustainable. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know where to take it from there, but
wow. You nailed it. First of all, I think your exact thought process of trying to find something that will stick, that you can wrap your head around and say conceptually, like, I can see myself doing this forever. Yeah. It's hard to find. I mean, I created true transformation out of my own struggles with the same exact thing, right? We're growing up, the only information, and by the way, now we live in an overwhelming amount of information. But growing up, I studied bodybuilding magazines. I studied the Arnold Encyclopedia, and everything that I read or studied made it feel like you had to adopt a Spartan lifestyle. Yep. Right. And for periods of the year, you were in this Spartan mode, and then you went into I don't care mode. Okay. The other times of year, right? Where you just ate whatever, were lazier, didn't care about your body, and then you had to go back into Spartan mode. And I found that to be rather exhausting after a period of time. And it honestly made me feel like I am never going to get to the point where I can look, feel, and perform at my best.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny you mentioned the New Year time. I would say, just as a side note, I think it's important, and this kind of fits our thought process with fitness, but it's never a bad day to change your life.
Nah, I love that.
It's never a bad day. Time is now. The best time to do was years ago.
Yeah.
The second best time is right now.
That's
Doesn't
right.
matter what time of year it is. There's always going to be an excuse for not getting started. I think the big excuse that I see is exactly what you just said. It's an overwhelming amount of information. You've probably tried a lot of things. And what I've decided to do, or what we've decided to do at True Transformation, is make things simple, sustainable, and honestly, really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because I mean, fitness, if we use it properly, is supposed to be a really good part of our life.
Yep.
It shouldn't be looked at as something we dread, or something we don't want to do, or something we're just trying to get through and get to the other side and go back to Netflix and nachos or whatever,
right?
Whatever you like to do. So I'll tell you, I mean, because you asked, where do we go from here? I would say someone like yourself, who you're a smart guy, you're not lazy, you're hardworking, you're driven, right? And you've embraced aspects of fitness. I mean, being an overweight kid and then losing a bunch of weight, but then going, how do I get my body to look the way I see these people look, right? Or how do I at least get to the point where I feel really good about myself, right? I think that's really what we're after.
Yep.
The aesthetics are great, but we get older, our bodies change, right? We may not carry as much muscle as time goes on, or our skin looks a little different, but ultimately, do we feel our best?
Yep.
That's what we're after.
Absolutely.
So without getting too into the weeds with fitness, I think what we've created, what we call the 3M system, which I think will help people who are listening start to wrap their head around, what does it actually take to get in shape? It takes three things. We call it the 3M system. It's movement, muscle, and meals. Every fitness program, every nutrition program, everything under the sun related to fitness fills up these buckets in some sort of way.
Yep.
They'll tell you it's the magical diet. They'll tell you it's a magical supplement, right? They'll tell you it's because you cut your carbs, or you go low fat, or you do cardio, or you do fasted this. There's a lot of stuff, but ultimately it always comes back to these three things.
Yeah.
You got to build movement into your lifestyle. In other words, you got to walk.
Yeah.
You gotta walk more,
Right.
You got to start tracking your steps. We sit around way too much as a society. We got to move more. So we have to have steps that we go after every day. Muscle wise, you don't need to live in the gym. I'm sure you've realized now.
Yep.
Your workouts just need to be designed properly.
Correct.
You need to have a good routine. You need to have appointments with yourself on your calendar that are non-negotiable. So less is more in some aspect, right? When you only have 3 gym appointments every week, those become more valuable than someone who thinks, oh, I got to go to the gym every single day. And then it's hard to really get momentum. But if you're like, it's just 3 workouts a week, 45 minutes, it's all you got to do, then those become valuable and you don't miss those.
Yeah.
Right. So muscle is really the anti-aging drug, right? It's going to help you stay healthy. It's going to help your joints. It's going to help your tendons, your ligaments, your muscle tissue stay on your body and stay healthy. So muscle is something everyone needs to focus on, but it's not about getting too big. It's just about training your body to stay healthy. So that's the second piece. The third piece, which I'd say is arguably the hardest piece for most people, and this is really where I think we make a big difference, is the nutrition piece. We call it meals because we all eat meals. Some people eat more meals than others. You don't need to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli, even though chicken, rice, and broccoli, if the right flavors are in place, can taste good.
Sure.
If you cook it the right way. But in other words, you don't need to follow a bland, boring, tasteless diet where you're not allowed to eat the Twix bars or whatever, we talked about earlier, graham crackers and peanut butter and stuff. You can enjoy the stuff you like, knowing what is actually important when it comes to nutrition, which is your total caloric intake. That'll dictate whether you lose weight, gain weight, or maintain weight. And then putting an emphasis on higher protein foods.
There you go. Yep.
If you get those two things right, your calories and your protein, I promise you everything else falls into place. It's crazy to say it, but you can ditch all the fad diets, the paleo, the keto, the carb cycling, and just focus on those two things. And I promise you, your body will respond favorably. Now, obviously people, as they start this process of transformation and they start buying into this system, ultimately may decide to go more detailed, right?
Sure.
And say, hey, I want to do more advanced things. But at the end of the day, it's like building a house. The foundation, the walls, the things, the roof, the necessities that go into a home are the things I just laid out.
Yep.
Right. And it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. I promise you. Looking at someone like me, who to some people, I might say, oh, he's achieved a very intense level of fitness. It's too much, or it's extreme. I promise you, all I do is a 3M system. Even today, I'm not working out. All I did was I walked around the airport a little bit more on my way to podcast with you. All I'm doing is loosely paying attention to my calories today, right? Yep. And tomorrow I'm going to wake up still in shape, still on point, still on track, zero guilt, enjoying my life in the process. And fitness ultimately becomes a couple things. Number one, it becomes the lowest hanging fruit to just improving who you are. It improves your mood, keeps you from losing your patience, clears your head, allows you to make bigger decisions, gives you energy. It's like the limitless pill that we're all after. Yeah. Right. It fills up our tank so that we can go out and we can serve our communities, our people, our families, all the things we care about. The second thing with fitness is like, ultimately, I want people to achieve a comfort level with fitness where it almost becomes background noise. Yeah. What I mean by that is it stops becoming this source of stress for people where it's like, man, I feel guilty. I didn't go to the gym, or man, I'm off track. I cheat on my diet all the time. And this becomes this negative association with fitness. Instead, I want it to become like that. Just what you do, it's like, you don't even realize half the time you're doing it. It just becomes a part of your day to day. It's not a stressful part. It's a really enjoyable and maintainable part of your life. Ultimately, it's also something we can pass on to the people we care about, right? It's like, there's so many people in your social circle and your families that are struggling with this stuff. And if you can gift them the clarity that we provide at TT, and you can share with them how simple and sustainable it can truly be, man, you can change people's lives, truthfully.
I was having a conversation with my wife, Angel, the other day. There's another thing going on. Your system is amazing. I want to keep talking about it. But the other thing that I feel like is happening, I'd love for you to comment. I feel like technology has caught up from a flavor standpoint that, like, even 5 years ago, trying to do this, like today, right now is the time to be able, I think of like protein pancakes,
Yes. Dude, you nailed it. We're living in, I thought I grew up in the golden age of fitness. Yeah. Right. Because, it was bodybuilding and I was a young guy and it was just Arnold and all these guys, man, it was really cool. But now I look around, I'm like, man, like if you're trying to get in shape, if you got a good system in place, you can eliminate a lot of the noise and a lot of the distractions that are trying to make things more complicated than they have to be. Man, it is a fun time to try to get in shape, because there really isn't a whole lot of quote unquote sacrifices that you have to make. Right. You can eat the foods that everyday people eat. They taste almost identical. And in fact, some cases better than the unhealthy stuff, while getting the results that truthfully everybody wants, right? Body feeling good, looking good, performing good, all that stuff. You can do it in a way that feels just really natural and fun at the same time. So yeah, it is a good time. Technology's caught up, products have caught up, development has caught up to now where, man, you really don't have to change a whole lot about the things you enjoy. It's just the quantity maybe, or just the ingredients, or just slight modifications that make a massive shift in.
I was thinking about last night. This is what I will tell you guys. We give a little bit of the magic here, but this is what Total Transformation System really does. Is from an education standpoint, you guys do a great job on really educating and helping people understand. But I'll tell you guys, one of the big game changers for me in the beginning, let's just talk about pizza. Okay. Right. So get the crust right from a protein standpoint. Okay. And then it was like, okay, game changer, fat-free cheese. Is it as good as real cheese? Maybe not, but fat-free cheese. Sure. You're getting a big protein, 4 calorie. Yeah. Turkey pepperoni versus regular pepperoni. I can't tell the difference in the taste.
Yeah. Dude, I think
it's little things like that. I had a pizza last night that I couldn't even finish the whole pizza. I'm stuffed. I'm enjoying pizza.
Yep.
And you guys do a great job from an education standpoint on, like, here's the substitutions. Here's how you think about it differently.
So I like to reverse engineer things. When we look at people and the habits that they have and some of the things that aren't serving them, really what we wanted to figure out is, why are you doing that? And ultimately what we find with food is it's simply an enjoyment factor.
Sure.
Right. I want to enjoy the taste of something that gives me a satisfaction, a satiety that I ultimately have come to appreciate and enjoy. Anyway, so if you have that as the end goal, we can reverse engineer that and make it so that not only are you still getting those things, but now you're not waking up the next day 4 pounds heavier, right? You're leaner, you're healthier. And you go, man, yesterday I had tacos, pizza, a protein bar that tasted like a candy bar, and I had a smoothie that tasted like a peanut butter chocolate milkshake, and I'm down 2 pounds.
Right.
And that's where buy-in happens. I think what ultimately it comes down to is self-belief and also belief in the system, right? You believe, number one, you're capable because you start doing the thing, you start trusting the process, you get a result, self-belief goes through the roof. And when self-belief goes up, motivation goes up because you ultimately say, I can do this. So I'm motivated to do it. Right. And then all of a sudden your enjoyment factor goes through the roof because everybody wants results, man. We're a results driven world. So you get results, you feel better, and you're still, it almost feels like you're kind of cheating because you're like, I've gamed the system. I got all this food that I'm able to enjoy. And I'm not living in the gym. I'm not waking up at 4 a.m. to do 3 hours of cardio and then having to go back to the gym at night. Like you're living a very balanced life while looking like a superhero. I mean, it's a pretty good gig, man.
It is. Yeah. It is. The other thing that you guys have done an incredible job with, which then leverages into, you said 3M, but you've got I'm going to call it the C3M, which is the community that you guys have built inside and the values and the culture of that community. Because you'd have a community go sideways. Oh yeah. I mean, you guys have built a community, and again, I'm able to participate in the community. Like everybody is cheering for everyone else. Everyone wants to see everyone. My success is your success. Your success is my success, and it just feeds.
Success is contagious in our group. Yeah, you know? And I think people are not only there to better themselves, but I think most of our community gets a lot of fulfillment and seeing other people win. Yeah. So we have a big group of people who have come through our program and achieved incredible success and now want to pass on all their lessons and all the things they would do differently. If there are any, they want to make sure the new people coming in feel really empowered and clear as well. So they're not only bought into their own results, they're now fully invested in seeing the group continue to succeed. That's a special thing. I mean, I think it comes from a place, if I had to put my finger on it, it comes from a place of leadership of our team where we give and then we give some more. Right. We there's no limit on what we're willing to give. I give away my best stuff online. You know, I don't hold back. I don't say, nope, it's behind a paywall, you know, or nope, you got to buy my product if you want the good stuff. I say, I'm going to give you everything you need because I ultimately know what you really need is accountability. What you really need is to invest in yourself. Because you invest in yourself, all of a sudden you have skin in the game.
That's right.
You pay attention to what you pay for. So just like a nice car or a nice home where you take great pride in taking good care of those things, you only get one body. You're not able to go to Target or mall or whatever and pick up another one. You only get one. So when we're not investing in that, there's not going to be a lot of care and attention attached to it. So I know I can give away all the information in the world. And ultimately, it's good information. It's things that will change your life. And I have people come up to me all the time and say, hey, I just use your content that you post on social media. It's changed my life. I lost 30 pounds. I'm like, wow, that's great. Because I know that the universal law where I give and give and give and give, ultimately will come back. It won't always come back in the form of payment, but it'll come back in the form of our community now giving back to people, right? It's a trait and a value that we all share. And I think that's why our community is so powerful is because I say it all the time, we want to win, but we almost want to see other people win more than we care about our own winnings, right? Because your success just makes me feel better about the program, right? It's not like a threat or man, you're better than me. No, it's like, dude, look at Eric. He's killing it, man. This is great. This program works. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. It's a really good confirmation that I'm in the right place. Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking about this a little bit earlier, just in the community and what you were talking about giving away for free. I borrowed your 10,000 steps before I ever, I just started walking 10,000 steps.
You don't need to give it back. Just keep it.
You know, that was what I was like, oh, okay, well, I could walk. And so that little piece started working, which I'm like, okay, so what else is going to work? And one of the other things too, especially we got business owners who are on here. You're a young guy. I will tell you, I'll make one quick comment and then I want to go into a question, which is, you know, at 50 years old, I've had people who are like, if you go look at pictures of me 10 years ago, they're like, you look younger today.
Oh yeah.
than you look now at 50. Why? Because I'm focused and I know how to take care of my health and I know how to take care of my body. Talk a little bit about, I don't want to name names, but you know who's coming to mind right now. Like people want to put age limits on. It's too late to, maybe I'm too late.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm too heavy. I'm whatever. You know, for younger guys, it's maybe easier to engage, but talk a little bit about kind of the community and what you've seen of people who are maybe later, but still getting engaged in the process.
Well, first of all, I'd say it's never too late to improve on you, because the question I always say is, or the response to that would always be, compared to what, right? It's too late compared to what? Are you comparing yourself to a 25-year-old? Why? Because your journey is completely different than that person's, right? It's always about you versus you. And it's not, there's so many areas of improvement that take place when you take care of your health. You know, your aesthetics, yes, they definitely improve your body composition, but man, your energy, your hormonal environment, you know, your mental health. I mean, mental health, man, nobody wants to talk about mental health, but how you feel mentally when you're fit and healthy is a 180 from when you're inflamed and full all the time and feeling sluggish. Your brain just operates differently when you're fit and healthy. So I would argue there's never a time in my life where health won't matter anymore. So if I'm 75, I'm still going to care about my health. If I'm 25, I'm still going to care about my health. There's never a time where we go, you know what, my body and my health, they don't matter anymore. It's like, when does that actually happen?
Right.
I'll tell you when it happens, when I'm gone. Right.
Yeah.
Because then I'll be, my soul will be moving on to the next chapter in my journey. And ultimately, while I'm here, my body is a vessel and it's a blessing, right? I've been given a lot of gifts, one of which is a body that is on two legs that can go out and impact people. And I know a lot of people listening probably feel the same way, at least about what they're doing in their mission. So take care of that vessel, man. Everything you do, everything you experience, every mission you're on, every project you work in, it involves your body and your mental health. So put it a level of importance on something that you experience everything through. There's never a time when your body and health aren't or shouldn't be a priority. They should always be a part of your priority list.
Yep. And I think that, you know, the real question is, you talk about this priority, what we focus on, what we prioritize is what actually gets fixed. It's the stuff that actually, and so if you're a person like, man, my body's just not where it's going to be. I think the number one mistake I've watched business owners or other people make is trying to say that something's too expensive.
Compared to what?
You know, compared to what, right?
Yeah.
I mean, compared to being in the hospital, compared to dying 10 years earlier, compared to, you know, diabetes or what. And that's, I mean, again, there's different lifestyle things that cause, but I mean, you can really, this is, like you said, it's the low hanging fruit of what you could do. I've actually had some friends come up to me, and if you want to message me and like, Eric, what's the number? Like, you guys would probably be offended by the number I spend on my body, like how much I spend on health every single month. But I don't think of it as spending on health. It's investing in health. My wife has named me a health nut. She's like, just want you to know you're a health nut. And it took me a long time to actually embrace it.
Well, here's what I would tell people, you know, okay. So I love this discussion because, first of all, I know I know my response initially. I know their counter response. My initial response will be, hey, the top athletes in the world invest millions of dollars into their body. Okay. And I know someone's response is going to say, well, I'm not a top athlete. I said, hold on a second. Do you get paid to perform?
Yeah.
And the answer, of course, is yes.
Yes.
Right. Do you get paid to show up? Yes. Do you get paid to be somewhere and run a team or be a leader?
Yep.
Yes, of course. Dude, you're an athlete. Right. Because ultimately, if you're unhealthy, if you can't show up to work, or if you can't lead your teams or be there for your family, does your income suffer?
Yeah,
absolutely it does. Right. So yes, your body is tied to your money, whether you realize it or not. Even if you're not LeBron James or Tom Brady or these guys who I know, because I know personal coaches who've worked with them, who spend upwards of $10 million, $20 million a year on health and fitness, right? Coaches, nutritionists. Now, it's all relative, but I think it's a significant percentage of your energy and time or money should be invested into your health.
Yep.
Because it will pay you back 10 times over.
That's right.
So
totally.
You're an athlete, whether you realize it or not. Your body is required in order for you to show up and perform at your best. So yeah, we gotta start adopting that athlete mentality of like, hey, I want to be great on game day, whether that's in the boardroom or if that's leading my team or running my sales group or whatever it is that you're doing. You want to show up at your best on game day. So you need to take care of your health and fitness. You need to have higher standards for how you show up. I mean, let alone like, forget about how you feel. Look how other people look at you too as a leader. You want to be a leader, man, lead from the front on all areas.
Right.
I mean, nobody's going to say this because it hurts, but if you see someone who's unhealthy and overweight and clearly not taking care of themselves, there's less amount of respect that gets applied to that person versus the person in the same type of role, same personality, same leadership skills, who's in shape.
Definitely.
I mean, to be real,
it is real.
We got to live in the real world, because I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. And love is not lies, as my friend Wes always says. Love is not lies. So my hope is that guys who are in leadership positions, and even if you're aspiring to be a leader, man, grasp onto that lower hanging fruit of being someone who shows up healthy, full of energy, clearly fit, clearly mentally in the game. Because I promise you, they'll separate you from the competition.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally. And so the other thing too, the principles of Kingdom ROI start with the fact that the most important thing is our faith, is we embrace our relationship with God and what he does in our life. But number two is how we take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Just fitness.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of faith, man, I mean, the Holy Spirit lives in your body,
right? Yes.
Your home is a vessel for God's missions, and where your spirit lies is inside this physical being that was a gift from God. I would argue God's a fan of fitness.
I would too. Yeah.
He may not love some of the unhealthy extreme practices that go into some of the parts of fitness communities, but I think at the end of the day, God wants you to be healthy. God wants you to be full of energy. God wants you, listen, not everybody is given the gift of health, right? Some people are born with handicaps. Some people are born with movement restrictions. And man, some of those people are some of the most energetic, healthiest people I've ever met, because they take what they're given and they maximize it, right? And so many of us are given everything we need and we minimize it, and we ignore it, and we don't invest in it. It's like, man, if you were given a healthy body and mind, take care of it, because it is a gift.
Well, we keep talking about it, but I want to hang out in this right now. What, as a business owner, what do you want for 2024? I think that's the question you need to start by asking. And if you're not going to emphasize your health first, how much more energy and everything is it going to cost you to get there, versus if you actually invested in your health, you might actually find out that you've unlocked the key to getting there without even realizing that, like, the thing standing in your way more than likely is one of the things standing in your way is your health.
100%. You know, we talk about wanting to be, I think every man, and I think every woman too, wants to be the complete package.
Yep.
You know, we want to have most things figured out. We want to be considered above average. We want to be excellent.
Yep.
And I think so many of us pursue, and I get it, right? Because necessities, and you want to provide, and you want to take care of your families. So many of us put so many things ahead of our health. I'll tell you what, I've invested in a lot of things over the years, and there's been many things I've regretted investing in.
Sure.
But the one thing I've never regretted is taking care of myself, ever. I've never woken up and go, man, I'm really upset I invested into my health. That's just never happened. Right. So there's a lot of things you could invest your time into. There's a lot of things you invest your money into. There's a lot of things you can invest energy into, but your health will always be something you look back on and go, man, I'm so glad I did it.
Well, and it's simple in one sense, because what keeps coming to my mind is how much clearer I come into the office every single day because I've hit a workout in the morning. How much more certain I come into business meetings and the things that I'm doing because I ate the right things. I'm not sitting there with a stomach ache that's one of the other things, like gut health. And I mean, all these other things that we're all pursuing. I think back over just kind of the crazy things that I've done. Like juice cleanses and,
of course.
Like major, week-long, I've done a week-long fast before, again, that's why I'm the health nut. I've tried almost everything that's out there. But again, you come back to sustainability and the rewards of what comes out of it. And that's, again, what I love about the True Transformation System is, I mean, you guys have really locked in on something that not only can I sustain, but man, how it pours into me and what it get, the return on investment. I mean, we talk about an investment, but the return on investment is so much higher than any other program I've ever found. That's why I wanted to have you on here to really talk to everybody about it.
Yeah. It's, I told our team, I tell our team this pretty frequently, but I told him this the other day. I said, I was actually working out in the morning and I just had like this euphoria, right? I was like, man, I feel so good, and I texted the team. I said, guys, go show up today in a big way because, man, this gift of fitness that we're giving people, man, you can't bottle this feeling up and sell it on a store shelf.
No,
you got to get people in the game, man. You got to give them an opportunity, lead them, get them in, because it's just a feeling and a sense of wellness that it's unmatched. Honestly, like hearing about the things you've tried, that's what I love about our system is like, we don't knock anything.
Yeah.
Right? We want to educate you. So, hey, if I'm going to go fast for a week, here's what to expect. And also, by the way, when we come back to our standard and our status quo and our sustainability, you have a really good foundation in place. So it's not like, hey, I'm swinging from one end of the extreme to the other.
Right.
And it's just this yo-yo diet the rest of my life. And I'm gaining 10 pounds, I'm losing 10 pounds. I'm gaining 12 pounds and losing 8 pounds. It's like, no, I'm going to go try a fast, but when I'm done, I'm going to come back to the 3Ms. Or, hey, I'm going to, try a new workout program for a month, but then I'm going to come back to my foundational principles. That's honestly a valuable piece that I think a lot of people don't even realize they're missing until they have it.
Yep. Yep. I don't know why I keep wanting to go back to this, but I am. I want to go back to I want to back and talk about age, but I am gonna depending on where you are, like don't give up on yourself before everybody else has given up on you, I guess would be something I would say. And I am going to say his name, but we're not going to say his full name. Frank is such a motivation.
He's awesome.
Inside the program. And I have no idea how old he is, but I mean, this guy is just
older than you.
Right? By 10 or 15 years, if I had to guess.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But he comes in, and the thing that I would tell you, like, the other thing I would say is not only where you are, but this community is going to be there to cheer you on. I think that's what the thing that gets me energized about it is, like, Frank is there showing up, doing his thing, being authentic and real with exactly who he is, his struggles, and everybody's just cheering him on.
Yep.
And it goes all the way down. But I mean, that's just, I find so many people put limits on themselves because of age. I had to.
It's so true though. I mean, they're self-limiting beliefs, right? Because society or some headlines you've read way too many times will tell you this is when this happens. This age is too late. Ultimately, I have examples that would, prove otherwise on many different levels, right? But once again, remember, it's like there could be someone who's 25 who's got bigger struggles than you, right? There could be someone older than you. It's comparison will rob you of the joy of the process that you're going to go through. It'll just rob you of the excitement. It'll rob you of the fulfillment, right? Of changing your habits, changing your routine, and actually getting something in place where the puzzle pieces fit together for once. And you feel really good about it. Don't worry about age. Don't worry about, really the biggest things to concern yourself with are what do you want your life to look like, right? What do you want your custom 3M system to look like? What do you have that's non-negotiable? Is it date nights? Is it Moscow mules once or twice a month? Is it a glass of wine once a week? What are the things you get a lot of enjoyment out of that we can keep as part of your plan? Right? That you can go, man, this is my system. Yes, I follow these principles, but I'm able to now wake up every day and go, I can just follow this the rest of my life. This is too easy.
Right.
That's what you should be worried about, right? Keeping your lifestyle where you want it while getting the results that you're, truly after.
Well, and then you begin to watch community push you out of your comfort zone. Which is the joke. And I got to be careful here because I don't want people pushed away from this. But I fell sucker to it, which is you don't have to run to be in total transformation.
Oh yeah. So, well, what I think happens to a lot of people, right, is you come into a program, you get results, and typically then what happens is your self-belief goes to the roof, right? So your confidence goes up. And you say, you know what, man, I conquered this Achilles heel, this monkey on my back that I've had for a while. And now I want to try something else. And I think a lot of the natural inclination is people who go, man, I've never really run before, because they weren't healthy enough to run, or they weren't light enough to run. So they're like, I've always kind of wanted to do this. I want to see if I'm capable of doing it. So the natural progression is to try something that's more performance-based. What's my body capable of? And I tell people all the time, I'm not a runner. I don't run. Like I do run, but I'm not a runner. But I like to challenge myself with running because my body is now capable of doing that. So I'd like to see what can my body do. I got past the fat loss stuff, got past the muscle building stuff. That part's easy now. what else can I do to challenge myself, to continue to expand my comfort zone?
Yeah. Well, so I go being the health nut a few years ago. I did a couple half marathons. I ran, I did some other things like that, but I kept injuring myself.
Oh yeah.
Injured my back. I think because I was 40 pounds heavier, like
Sure.
trying to run and everything. But you get the bug and you get in and you just watch everybody. Again, everybody else encourages you and just kind of pushes you. And I told Angel, I said, I think I'm gonna have to go buy a pair of running shoes. And she's like, I thought you don't run anymore. I'm like, I get it, but I don't know how to describe it. I'm 40 pounds lighter. I got to know. Yeah. And here's what was crazy. I went out, put on my running shoes, ran 3 miles. I haven't run in like 2 years. I ran 3 miles. Sub 10-minute mile, which for me, I'm a Clydesdale. I'm
just slow and
steady, but a sub 10-minute mile. And I was like, where the heck did that come? Like, where did that come from? Yeah. And then since then, I went out and ran 4. I went out and ran 5. And the other day I was like, maybe I should do another half marathon again. I'm like, shut up. Where's this idea coming from?
Yeah,
And again, I don't want people being pushed away by that, but it's the community pushing you to go, hey, I found out I could do this. What else might be possible inside of that?
To be clear, there's no requirement to run. But I will say it's an interesting thing to watch people choose their next adventure.
Yes.
Some people go, hey, I lost 40 pounds, saw my abs for the first time. But you know what? I kind of want to do one of those like fitness shoots, right? Where I look, really ripped and like I'm on good lighting and I want to see how lean I can truly get. That could be another challenge. Maybe it's like, hey, I want to swim, or I want to ride a bike, or I want to just, go hiking and actually feel like not out of breath, after 10 steps. I want to see what my body's capable of. And I think that is a big part of journey. We call it the flywheel approach, right? So you come in, you have the 3M system. Some people are in it for certain periods of time, longer than others, shorter than others. You get the result that you came for, right? Which is leaner, healthier, feeling good, looking good, performing good. But then you go, I kind of want to spin that wheel. I want to see what's next, right? So we have next level stuff that people don't have to do, but ultimately want to do because their body is new now. Like they feel refreshed. They feel like they hit the reset button. And now they're like, well, these are all the things I kind of always secretly wanted to do.
Yeah.
So let me see if I'm capable. And then it's not about going out and winning marathons. It's like, hey, I just did something that 3 years ago I said I would never be able to do.
That's it.
And now I did it. Right. And I may never do it again, but that's on my resume, dude. Right. That's something that nobody can ever take away from me.
Well, let me tell you a gift that you guys gave me that you don't even know that you gave me. So when I used to run, the reason that I would run is it was a place as a business owner, about 1.5 miles to 2 miles in, my world would go quiet. And for the first time, I found a place I could think. And I get that sometimes in workouts, but there's something about just the constant pressure of that. I hurt myself. I lost that place. So I was swimming and doing some things like that. And I was like, oh, I found that place in the pool, I thought. But again, and following the program and getting my life back, what you guys gave me was that when I went out on the run, I found that place again. And I was like, ooh, that's not the same as it wasn't. This is a totally different place than I thought I had in the pool. And now I have it back. And so as a business owner, I would even tell you, I find it sometimes in fitness, but what is it to think critically, to grow to the next level, to become the next thing? What are the things you're missing out on or not doing because you're not pushing yourself to the place that you can go to, that God can give you those gifts, that God can plant those seeds inside of you, and you don't even know that you're missing out on them, and you're not going to get there until you choose to take yourself to that place.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I have some of my best ideas on a run.
Right?
Because you can't do anything while you're running besides one foot in front of the other and think. You can't be on your phone. You're not on calls. You're not trying to juggle projects. You're just you and the road and your mind. And I oftentimes run without music just to think, or sometimes I'll put on worship music or music that gets me fired up. Like, I have different things that I use for different days, but sometimes it's just thinking time. So sometimes the best runs are where my iPod or my earphones die or something. And I'm like 3 miles, just me and my thoughts.
That's right.
And you come back and go, man, I got clarity, clarity. Maybe I work through some issues. But exercise is, fitness is so much more than muscles and less fat. Right. It's really a mental tool that ultimately I don't think can be topped by any other tool. I think ultimately, maybe you could argue prayer's up there, but ultimately fitness is a form of meditation.
I was going to say, except for the fact that fitness will take you to a certain place in prayer if you will let it.
Praying to survive the run. No,
no, but if you will let fitness take you to a certain, I do not want to keep coming back to running, but I remember I was on a 10-mile run. And I was at mile 7 and I'd hit a wall. And I was like, the only thing I know to do is I'm going to dedicate this next half mile to praying for this person. And then I'm going to dedicate the next half mile to praying for this person. And it was a level of prayer I'd never experienced before.
It's I've been there. I've been there. And I think you need to do the half marathon because we keep coming back to running because your mind is clearly on that track.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's fitness for me. It's not a joke, but I'd say it jokingly to people. I say, I don't work out anymore for the abs. I don't work out for the arms. Yeah, I like those things. I'm glad I've earned those things, right? But ultimately, I work out in the morning so that I'm not a jerk.
Oh, that's good.
Right. So I don't show up to my employee, meetings, or I don't show up to my kids, sports and act like a total jerk, because I've been there and I know when I don't take care of myself, I'm not fun to be around. Right? Or I'm not as fun to be around. I might be okay. I might be able to put on a happy face, but man, when I have a good workout, the rest of my day is just so much better. Even fires get put out more efficiently, right? I think it's our little way of preparing for the battles that life will give us.
Yeah.
It's just one more thing we can do to be ready to tackle the struggles that are given to the, God's soldiers, man. That's what it is. So working out prepares you for those moments.
That's right. That's right. So, just as people are kind of we're getting to the end of 23. If somebody wants more information, they can follow you on social media. We can talk about that and everything, but what is the best entry point for someone to kind of get introduced to what's going on with Total Transformation? What's the best entry point to have a conversation with someone, maybe about what a program can look like for them? Do you have a good place? So
on our website, we have a lot of things that they can just start using without having to invest in anything. They can just literally, get what we call our 3M action plan.
Okay.
Which I think is probably the best place to start. So if you go to thetruetransformation.com, right on the first page, there's an opportunity for you to get what we call the action plan. It's going to give you a roadmap for success. I mean, you can literally start following that right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Start getting in better shape, feeling better. But of course, we also have opportunities to have consultations with us, learn about our program, and also start to get clarity on what you specifically need to focus on. Because some people, as you know, come in with a lot of things right.
Yep.
But just need a little bit of tweaking, right? Just a little bit of manipulation around a couple things. And all of a sudden their world opens up and things start to work. So the website, thetruetransformation.com, if you're looking to just explore who we are, who I am, and what we stand for, you can follow me on social at Josiah Fitness on pretty much every platform. Okay. And every single day I commit to showing up and dropping something of value to help you on your journey. So that's where I would start.
Okay. As we kind of wrap up this live at lunch, anything else that you would want to share with anybody?
Oh man, how much time we got? So, I would say we live by a code. It's our signature sign off. We say life moves fast, make it count. And I've really started to think about that phrase because it's so important to remember we have such limited time here, right? And sure, we talk about the fat loss, we talk about the muscle building, and a lot of our content is centered around those things. But if you're out there and you're someone who's like, hey, I got a mission in life, or hey, I want to make an impact, or hey, I want to show up for my family.
Yeah. Making
life count starts with taking care of yourself. You cannot take care of other people if you are not taken care of. It's just the truth. So
that is,
if you're looking for a place to improve your life now and moving into the next year, I would strongly encourage you to take a look at your health and fitness. Get your house in order starting there. And I promise you, you'll look back and be thankful that you did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm living proof of it again. If you want to reach out to me directly and know just kind of the results that I've had, yes, this has been a testimonial recording this entire time. I mean, you've been set up. I will admit it. You've been set up. Live at Lunch is about me bringing to you the things that I've found in business that have made a difference in my life. And why wouldn't I want to give that gift to you? So Josiah, thank you for being here. Everybody, thank you for being here for our December Live at Lunch. Life does move fast. Make it count and take care of you as we move into 2024. What if you were the priority, and then unlock just what might happen inside of that? So thank you again for being with us. Join us in January for our Live at Lunch. I will have Lori McCants with no. Who will it? I will tell you who will be here. National Christian Foundation will be here. And we're going to be talking about generosity. And most people go, well, don't you talk about generosity at the end of the year? I've specifically asked them to come in at the beginning of the year because generosity is a year-long journey. And we're going to spend some time talking about how, as a business owner, we can really kind of begin to embrace generosity inside of our businesses and what we can think about doing as we come into the year and live a life focused on things that truly make a difference and make an impact. So join us in January. National Christian Foundation will be here. Again, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and thank you for being here at Live at Lunch.
Awesome, man.